Do you need to have teacher certification in order to homeschool? No. Do you need to have a teaching degree in order to homeschool? No. Do you need to have any sort of experience as a school teacher in order to homeschool? Absolutely not. So, why on earth do we offer teacher training for homeschool parents? Well, teacher training for homeschool parents is something that is entirely a different animal than teacher training for the industrial school system. Now, any homeschool parent who has any bit of experience with this is going to readily admit that there are skills that we really do wish that somebody had taught us, that we didn't have to learn through trial and error. We wish that there were some things that we had known at the beginning going in that we learned over blood, sweat, and tears, many tears over the time of homeschooling. And so that's what we mean when we talk about teacher training for homeschool parents. We are not focusing on some of the things that you would focus on if you were going to have 30 children sitting at desks where you are teaching them how to study for a test and how to meet standards at specific times and be able to pass tests. And no, that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we're talking about, let's take a close look at the child. Who is this child in front of us? Let's take a good hard look at childhood development, because that is a really important skill set and knowledge that we need in order to understand this child, this soul in front of us as he grows. We also need to understand learning development. And we need to know learning styles. We have to understand learning disabilities. All of these things are things that they're skills to recognize and know and be able to give the child a holistic formation. Now, teacher training is not always just about academics when it comes to homeschooling either. No, in a homeschool, we get to delight in making all of life a learning experience. That means, how do we take what we're doing on a day-to-day basis and turn that into a joyful experience of learning? That takes some pre-thought, predetermination, some deliberate action to know how to do that. How do I homeschool children of multiple ages? How do I make our schedule work so that we are teaching from rest and not a place of anxiety? You know, a mother with 6, 7 kids, is she going to be teaching 12 hours a day in order to meet all their needs? There are some skills that come into play as we learn how to negotiate these very difficult questions inside the home. What about yourself? There's a certain training that a parent needs in order to be prepared for their child in order to teach them. And one of those preparations is about learning how to observe. That's a big one. That's a huge skill. Understanding what really is bothering the child. What really is getting the child excited? What really is going on there? There are so many areas. Now, what about self-preparation? Mom, what are you going to do in the middle of the day when that glass breaks? How are we going to be prepared ahead of time to turn this into a teachable moment? To demonstrate for the child patience, discipline, just rolling with the day, learning how to clean up, how to take care of a problem and a challenge that faces us. The way we face a problem like a glass breaking in the middle of the day teaches a child so much more than maybe any of the academics that you would be sitting down to teach them during the day out of a textbook. How to handle these real life situations. So homeschooling training in many ways is parent training, is personal development. There's so much overlap because when you're homeschooling, it's a different beast. We never, ever advocate recreating the school inside the home. We're about something very different. But whoever showed us what that is supposed to look like. So many of us were raised in daycares or ourselves in the public school model, and no one has ever shown us what it might look like to come to a full human formation, which includes academics, within the home. And so somebody has to be here to offer that training so that you're not always out there reinventing the wheel. There's so many aspects to teacher training for homeschool parents that really is a very necessary thing for so many parents. And let's not, though, confuse that with the same thing as teacher training for the industrial school system.